Hello, witches, and welcome back to my channel. I have had probably the worst day and the longest. This day just started off bad. I woke up, I got 4 hours of sleep, and I woke up and I went to court to pay my ticket, and I show up and they were like, because I did defensive driving, so I could get it for, I could pay half the price. So I walk in and I tell them that I did defensive driving, and they're like, we can't take this because you didn't apply for it. And I was like, so this ticket was $225 originally, but I had to pay $50 extra so it didn't go in my record. So I paid $275, did defensive driving for no fucking reason, and yeah. So yeah, that was my morning, and I need a big fucking drink after all that. And my boyfriend was trying to sext at 9 in the morning. Like, who is horny at 9 in the morning? Love you, babe. But, yeah. And I guess everything's annoying me because I actually took my Adderall today. So, I just get annoyed on my Adderall. So, yeah. Well, that's my little rant before I start today. So, I've decided that I'm going to do Murder Mondays, which I'm going to talk about a case that's, pretty interesting every Monday. And yeah, today's the first Murder Monday. I did film yesterday, but I had a lot of underboob showing and Noah was not having it, so I just decided to refilm. So yeah, let's get started. Today I'm talking about Issei Sagawa. I don't know how to say his name correctly, but he is a famous cannibal that was free after committing a crime that he admitted to. So yeah, I'm going to talk about him today for my first Murder Monday. So he was a pretty fucked up kid. When he was younger, he was born and he almost died when he was born because he was so tiny. But while he was growing up, his dad and his uncle, I believe, played this game where they pretended they were giants trying to eat the kids, which started his cannibalism thoughts. And he was a very skinny child. He's very small, and he will look at his classmates' thighs and be like, I want to eat those. Those look yummy, which is weird. But he basically blamed his cannibalistic thoughts as he blamed the media's representation of Western women, how they dress, how they act. He blamed that, and he looked at cannibalism as a sexual desire, not really a bad thing. He thought it was pretty normal, like how guys look at women and they think of sex. He looked at women and thought of eating them. But basically, he wanted to eat Grace Kelly, which is a famous person. He would sexually fantasize of her, but not sexually, just of him eating her. So basically, he did a bunch of interviews because he is free and a bunch of people wanted to interview him. And he basically said he never intended on killing anybody. He just wanted to eat them. So he wanted to eat them alive, which is fucked up. But anyways, in 1981, after repressing his desires for 32 years, they finally got to the best of him. So he moved to Paris, and he was studying literature at this public research university. Once he was there, his urges just took over. He said that every night he would bring home a prostitute and try to shoot them from behind, but he would never do it. He never, succeeded. He just stopped. And he basically said that this was more of a ritual, not as an urge to eat them. He thought it was, his duty to kill a girl no matter what, which is weird, but this man is pretty weird. But eventually he found the perfect victim. So her name was Renee Hardevelt. She was a Dutch student studying with him at the university. And over time, he developed a friendship with this girl. and he would occasionally invite her to his home for dinner, and at some point, he finally gained her trust. He attempted to kill her once, but the gun misfired when her back was turned, like he was trying to shoot her from behind, and the gun misfired. Though, usually people would take this as a sign not to, it only pushed him more in the urge to kill. And he basically, quote unquote, said it made him more hysterical that he simply had to kill her. So the very next night, which I don't know why this girl hung out with him again. I feel like you could hear a gun misfire, but maybe I'm tripping. Maybe you can't. I don't know. But the next night, he fired the gun at her, and she was killed instantly. And he only faced an instant of remorse before it turned into, like, him being okay with it. He was like, alright, I did it. He said that he thought about calling an ambulance, but then he thought, hang on, don't be stupid. You've been dreaming about this for 32 years, and now it's finally happening. So immediately after killing her, he raped her corpse and began cutting her open. That is just disgusting. And he said the first thing he cut into was her buttocks, and he kept getting fat, and then finally, after cutting for a while, he got the red meat. The moment he saw the meat, he took a chunk and ate it without even cooking it. So, that's fucked up. And he said it was truly a historical moment for him. Freaking weirdo. Ultimately, he said his only regret was not eating her alive, which is so barbaric. Imagine watching someone eat you, and not in the good way, like eat your flesh. So, he basically said the reasons behind his cannibalistic thoughts is like unknown. Like he doesn't know why he's like this. And he said basically it's simply a fetish. For example, if a normal man fancied a girl, his natural desire to see her is often impossible, to be close to her, to smell her, and to kiss her. To him, eating is just an extension of that, which no, it is not. No. And then he said, frankly, I can't fathom why everyone doesn't feel this urge to eat and to consume other people. I've never thought I want to eat a person. So 2 days after he killed her, he disposed of what remained of her body. He had eaten or frozen most of her pelvic region, so he put her legs, torso, and head into 2 suitcases and hauled a cab. The taxi driver dropped him off at a park, which had a secluded lake inside. Excuse me. So this taxi driver did not notice these suitcases, which, I don't know. Like, imagine today we would get an Uber driver if this was us, and you would probably rate this Uber 5 stars and be like, he didn't notice the bodies in my suitcases. 5 stars. Great Uber. Would ride again. Like, that's what I'm thinking of right now. Like, that's probably what he would do. And so he dropped him off at the lake, and he had planned to drop the suitcase in the lake unnoticed. But a bunch of people saw blood dripping from the suitcases and alerted the French police. So basically, the police found him and questioned him, and his response was a simple confession. Like, he confessed to the murder. He basically said, I killed her to eat her flesh. So he awaited his trial for 2 years, and he was in French prison for 2 years. And when it was finally time for him to be tried, the judge basically said he's insane and he needs to go to a mental institution for the rest of his life. So they basically said he was unfit for trial and he was legally sane, so they would hold him indefinitely in a mental institution and drop the charges. So then he got deported back to Japan, where he'd spend the rest of his days in the Japanese mental hospital. But he didn't. So basically, because the charges in France was dropped, he did not have a case in Japan, and the documents were sealed. So the Japanese authorities had no case against him, so they had no choice but to let him walk free. So he checked himself out of the mental institution in 1986, and has been free ever since. He walks the streets of Tokyo where he lives, and he's free to do whatever he wants, basically. A terrifying thought that a bunch of people have is that he's going to act on this again, which he probably will. And he did a bunch of interviews because he's free, and a bunch of people find him interesting. So he basically said that in June, in the summertime, his urges are way harder to deal with because there's girls in shorts and tank tops, and he just sees the flesh and he has a desire to eat them again. And he basically said, before I die, I want to eat another person. And this man is free. And he basically said he can't bear the thought of leaving his life without eating another person or acting on his urges again. He even has plans on how to do it. He basically said there's a Japanese style of cooking, like it's called shaba shaba, which means it's lightly boiled into thin slices, and he said that's the best way to go in order to flavor the meat. In the meantime, he has refrained from cannibalism, and he's been writing books, which I don't know who's buying these books. I guess they're interesting, but like, still, you are letting this man flourish. And basically, his last quote in the article that I have researched from was, I hope that people who read my books will at least stop thinking me as a monster, which is extremely unlikely because he is a monster. But the thing that confuses me the most is if you look at him up on Google, and you know how someone's name pops up and they say what they do and then like a brief description of the person, you look him up, it doesn't say known killer or like criminal, it says public speaker. This man has changed his life into something like good, I guess, but which is nice, but it's not nice because he keeps saying that he wants to kill again, so that's not good. So basically, he's known to the world as a public speaker. And the fact that he's free is just so uncomforting, and I mean, I don't live in Tokyo, so it doesn't affect me, but the people in Tokyo, I would be scared. But it seems like when he kills, he knows the person at least, so I would just assume not to get close to him. I wonder if he has a girlfriend or if he's married. I don't know. I just researched the case. I didn't really look into his life. But yeah, let me know what you think of this case. It's a pretty short video. It was my first Murder Monday. It's a pretty short case. He only killed one person. But I believe he was tried for rape before he moved to Paris, but I didn't look more into it because it was just like a random fact I found about him. But he's a pretty fucked up guy. The fact that he raped the corpse is just, I wonder how that works. Like, I don't wonder how it works, but I don't understand how that is fun. I guess it is. I guess it's just like sex, but they're not responding, I guess. That's a little dark that I just talked about it, but I don't know how that works. I don't want to know. Whatever. But yeah, let me know what y'all think of this first Murder Monday. I'm going to do 2 other videos, so I'm going to do 3 videos a week. So I hope y'all like them. Let me know if y'all want me to talk about something, what you want my next video to be, whatever. I haven't really decided. I think my next video is going to be more over paranormal things or conspiracy because I've been doing a lot of murder cases. Well, not a lot, but I've been doing murder cases, and I feel like people are more into conspiracies. I think murder cases are pretty interesting because you get to look at like what started their craziness, or like usually people that do crazy things had a very bad childhood, but he didn't really. I mean, I didn't find anything where he was abused or like bullied. I didn't really find anything like that. I just found that he was extremely skinny. I guess he was bullied for being extremely skinny, but I mean, I was joked about when I was younger because I was so skinny, and I'm not a freaking serial killer. Like, it's just life. Get over it, I guess. Like, I understand being bullied to an extreme. That's not cool, and you're not gonna get over that. But if you're just being commented like that you're skinny, like that's not a big deal, I don't think. Now, if it was to the point where they were threatening you, yes. But that was my case, and I hope y'all enjoyed it. Please subscribe and like and comment, and I will see y'all next time. Bye!